Ever wonder what happens when the coach needs coaching? In this episode, I sit down with life coach Brittni Cosgrove, who turns our biggest blocks into building blocks. And this time, she's coaching me. Moi. That's right. I open up about a friendship wound and Brittni drops a truth bomb. You get to keep 100% of the limitations you fight for. What? Amazing. A quick heads up, some quick housekeeping. I'm releasing extra episodes all June because we're sprinting toward 1,000 downloads by June 30th. More stories, more coaching, more breakthroughs, more episodes. So hit play, share with a friend, and help us cross that finish line. If you want more updates, follow us at healing_with_Haley on Instagram. This is Healing with Haley, episode 68, When the Coach Gets Coached. Brittni helps me unblock a friendship wound. Welcome to Healing with Haley. I'm your coach, Haley Kirk. On this podcast, we dive into ways to heal, embrace, and truly love our lives. Here's my belief. So much of our suffering comes from what we believe. I'm here to help you understand your mind and question those thoughts to start your healing journey. Ready to get started? Let's go. Welcome, podcasters. I have Brittni Cosgrove here, and she is a life coach, and I cannot wait to pick her brain. Welcome, Brittni.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
She's like, for those of you listening, she's like this beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed. I'm just like, I just can't stop looking at you.
I'm too flattered.
Oh, yes. So tell us, so you're a life coach, and I always like to think about the listeners of this podcast. They're like, what is a life coach? Like, isn't that just kind of something like you're just a motivational person? Like, what's kind of going through someone who's listening on this podcast? Like, what should they take away? What are you hoping that they take away from this podcast?
Such a great question. So I really help people turn inward and look within so that they can find whatever subconscious or hidden blocks are keeping them stuck and use those blocks as stepping stones to get where they want to go. So whether it's in their career, whether they're starting a business, deepening relationships, starting a nonprofit, whatever desire is on your heart, I help you really bring that into fruition using the self-sabotage and those hidden things that we don't realize, those hidden patterns, as a way to move forward with more efficiency while also feeling better, feeling more confident, more authentic, aligned, all of those fun buzzwords. So it's really about creating a life that is on your terms. What do you want?
Yes.
How are you going to make it happen? And who do you need to be for that life? And bridging it all together so that your life is uniquely yours. Like I said, you're living it on your terms. You get to be anything and anyone that you want. So I help you make it happen.
Ooh. So let's say someone's like, really, Brittni, you could make me be a millionaire. Really, like someone who's kind of like a little skeptical. Like, what would be your rebuttal to that?
I say that anything that's on your heart, like if there's a desire, it's there for a reason, including if you want to be a millionaire, including any of those like what ifs.
Yeah.
That being said, you get to keep 100% of the limitations that you fight for. So I cannot make anyone change their mind. I can lead a horse to water, but I cannot make it drink. I can open a door, but I cannot make you walk through it. That being said, if you want to be the one that walks through it, if you want it, if you are willing to look within and do that uncomfy, unsexy, complicated work of growth and meeting edges and that healing that is there, then anything is possible for you. And I will hold that vision for you.
Ooh, I love what you said. A really good gold nugget. You said, you are 100% going to like stay limited to that limited belief. Tell me that one more time.
You get to keep 100% of the limitations that you fight for.
You get to keep 100% of the limitations that you fight for.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because it's a fight. It's a fight to keep like,
I say I can't do that then I won't be able to do that. If I say there's no way I can be a millionaire, then that will be my reality.
Oh my God. It's so interesting how much you're right. Like, it's like, no, like, first in fitness comes to mind for me. It's like, no, I'm thick boned. Like, all of my family is this way. Or like, um, I've tried 1,000 diets and like, it is a fight. It's like you're giving yourself all these reasons, creating an argument, which in a way you could think of it as a fight. Like, you are fighting for a limitation. That's such an interesting. I had never heard it put in those words before. That's wild. So let's take that person, for example, who wanted to be a millionaire. What, and they're like, okay, I'm willing to listen. Like, how exactly are you opening that door for me?
Yeah, let's do an experiment with everyone listening because money is such a perfect example and something everyone is working towards a financial goal in some way or other. Whether you want to hit a new income amount, whether you want to save a certain amount, whether you want to pay off debt. So think about how much money you want to make in the next year.
Okay.
So, yes, everyone have that number in your head. How much money do you want to make in the next year? Now, notice what happens when I say take that number and double it.
Yeah, fear.
Yeah, there's going to be fear, sensations, maybe a gripping feeling, maybe like some stuck
I
energy in
can't
the
do it.
throat.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
And
no
so
way.
this is an example of those subconscious limitations that we are not unknowingly walking around with. Maybe I think I can make $100,000, but then I think 200,000. It's like, oh, that's too much.
Right, right.
So what is it? Because the number itself is just a number. What is it about your belief system or your thoughts that has made something mean something else? So for example, I know a woman that she was growing her business, and I'm going to throw out some numbers because I don't remember specifics, but say the $200,000 mark, she had an upper limit there. She had a glass ceiling there. And so no matter what she was doing, she was not able to make more than that amount. Looking within and really diving into the subconscious, she realized that when she was about 8 or 9 years old, her parents got divorced at the same time that her mom received a promotion. So her young mind had subconsciously paired making more money with losing your marriage.
Oh, that's
And so,
interesting.
yeah. And so when she was able to see that, she could rewire her beliefs around money and her beliefs around marriage in a way that's more productive and aligned with what is actually true for us, what is true with our values, and what are our goals. And so that's just an example of how the subconscious, which really that's my bread and butter. I do a lot of mindset work and emotional work with clients, but the subconscious is my favorite. Because it's things like this, where it's this like this hidden meaning that our younger minds have grabbed onto and made that's not really based in any real truth. Because we all know that, you know, money and your marriage, they might influence each other, but those are separate things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we can see that with a new set of eyes, we can say, okay, I can make more money. And that doesn't have to mean I lose my marriage.
Yeah, yeah. You can
There,
have
we get
both.
creative. Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
yes and.
absolutely. I think for me, it's kind of the mom mindset. It's like some women might think like, oh, if I build a business, then I'm taking away time from my kid, and that means I'm a bad mom. But it's like, no, you can be a good mom and have a business. Yeah.
Exactly. And when we really see those, like those beliefs that we have and those mindsets that we have, we can see where we can better shift them to be more aligned with how we can live life on our terms. Because it doesn't have to be a this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And with shifting our mindset and working through any of those hidden belief systems, that's how you can break free. And it's not in a way where we're getting rid of those blocks or those past experiences. But like I said earlier, we're going to use those as a stepping stone, healing and overcoming anything that's there as we're still moving forward towards what we really want.
Hmm. How does I want you to kind of define terms. This is fun. When you say emotion work, subconscious work, tell us some, like, if I have no idea what that means, what is that?
Emotion work can look a lot like inner child work or parts work. It's where we're working with the energy that's in the body and using labels and maybe putting voices to it. And so, for example, taking a look at inner child work, that's where we can see, okay, this belief I have about what it means to make this amount of money, it's connected to this memory from my childhood. So,
Mm,
what I'll do with that person is we'll go back in the mind's eye to that memory of them as a child and almost hit pause on the original memory. And from your adult self with this clear lens and from this new, just this new way of looking at it, your adult self meets your inner child, your little self, and you get to be the adult you needed in that moment. You get to give your little self exactly what they needed, exactly what they were looking for in that moment, regardless of what the other adults or the other people in this memory actually did. You take that moment and you just heal and work with that little kid version of you in this memory to rewire it. So if it's a little girl who in the memory, the little girl is doing cartwheels and her family's applauding her, and she just feels like she's getting so much attention. She's so loved. She's so cherished. And then she does another cartwheel, but all of the family had looked away and no one acknowledges her. In her mind, maybe she made that mean, oh, I'm not that special, or I'm not
mm,
that talented, or no one wants to pay attention to me. It could be
yeah,
any number of things.
right.
And we can see from our adult lens, like, that's not really what happened. But our little minds, when we're kids, see, the subconscious is really, and now we're over into the subconscious side, but it really goes hand in hand with the emotional work and with mindset
Yeah,
because it's all just a different side of looking in at the same thing. But the subconscious is primarily developed in childhood by the age of 7. So there's a lot of memories from those younger years where we're making meaning out of things without having the full picture and the full context. So
right.
then taking that example of the little girl who was just looking to be seen and acknowledged and feel special, you go into that memory and you give her exactly what she needed. And this is something I'll title as insourcing. It's your being who you needed for yourself. You get to
Mm,
heal without anyone else in the memory doing anything, without anyone else in our lives being who we needed them to be. But instead, we're insourcing our healing and being who we needed for
mhm.
ourselves.
Oh, I love
So
that.
that's an example of the emotional work is it's working with the emotions and energy that's present around moving forward on a goal now and then tying in to see how does that emotion connect to a past experience.
I love that. And then, how would you go into the subconscious?
The subconscious is very similar, where, like I said, it's developed in our younger years, and it will also grab onto past experiences where maybe we tried a business and it didn't work out, and so now there's a subconscious belief that if I start another business, I'm going to fail. That's just
Oh,
an example. Or
yeah.
I've tried losing the weight before, but it didn't work out. So there's a subconscious belief that I can't do it because it hasn't worked out before. So in the
Mm,
subconscious,
mhm,
we'll kind of tickle it to see what comes up. So most of the time, the memory or belief or thought that we think it should be about is never what it's actually about. So, for example, I was working with a woman who was growing her business, and one thing that was keeping her stuck was attached to a memory of when she was wanting to try out for her high school swim team.
mhm,
So it's like we would never think consciously that these things would be connected, but
mm,
that's how the subconscious works. Is it makes meaning out of everything and anything.
yeah, yeah,
And so then we use our conscious mind to be like, oh, this is what the subconscious thought was going on. This is what it values. So maybe it
mhm,
values acceptance or it values being seen. It
right,
values integrity. Like there's going to be something that it wants to get out
mm,
of something, but doesn't think that it can.
okay.
We
If
look
the
at that
subconscious
conscious
mind,
mind. Mhm.
is that also, um, considered ego?
The ego is more like the conscious online. The subconscious is what we don't realize is there, that we're not aware of until we bring awareness to. It's like the
Mm.
dark corners, and then we bring the flashlight of the conscious into the dark corners and see, okay, what's here? What's here for us to work?
Okay.
All of it kind of goes hand in hand to create the ego or to be the ego.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, this would actually be kind of fun. I think it'd be fun for people to see what life coaching looks like. And I think having someone get coached live is really beneficial. Like just like watching someone get untangled in belief systems. So, do you want to coach me?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Does it have to be a limiting belief system?
It can be anything. Tell
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Tell me what you want, where you're heading
Yeah.
towards, and where you're at now.
Okay. Okay. So, I had a scenario recently where a friend told me in very vague terms, it sounded like either pausing the relationship or ending it. It was like, is pretty ambiguous. So, I have been working on that one for some time, like kind of just allowing the emotions, grieving it. Um, and maybe there are some belief systems there that I haven't uncovered, but I think where I want to be is is healing but allowing grieving at the same time.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. So I hear there was this relationship and they were the one that recently either hit pause or ended it. And
Yeah,
that's brought up a lot for you. And what I hear is that you're really wanting to be in this space where you allow everything, all of the emotion, the realness of this experience,
yeah,
and you're honoring the healing journey as well. Is that right?
right. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
beautiful. So when you think back to this moment where your friend brought up this conversation and you realize like this is an ending of what we've had before.
yeah.
Where do you notice that energy in your body? If you were to tune in.
It's like kind of like my stomach, like the pit of my stomach. Like it's like, oh, one of those deep, deeper core. like, not even like a drop. Like it doesn't feel like a drop from a roller coaster. It's like a kind of like ooh, it's like a shame kind of like bad girl. Like, no, no, like you did something terrible. Like, shame on you, kind of. Like you feel like you're in trouble. Not that you're having fun and going down a roller coaster, but it's like bad girl kind of. That's what it's saying.
Yeah, good awareness, beautiful awareness. Just take a moment and wherever the energy is the strongest, so right on that center place, maybe putting a hand there to presence it. I want to invite you to just breathe into this space just for a moment, giving it full permission to be here, exactly as it is, not trying to change it, just giving it full permission to be here.
Ugh, I'm gonna cry.
And this is vulnerable. It's vulnerable work. And on my end, all is welcome. Everything's welcome. I've had people cry, scream, rage. All of it gets to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so devastating. Honestly, that's like the worst part is it's like it was a long friendship. It was like 13 years. And it was just like out of nowhere. It was kind of like no repair was possible. Like it was like the unforgivable thing I did that I already apologized for and wasn't even a big deal in my mind. But I don't know. It's sad. It's really sad. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a lot. And just honoring the energy for being here for that. I mean, for years, for over a decade, it's been here, this friendship. And it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense that it feels devastating and that there's a lot of grief with it.
Yeah.
When you tune into that energy that's in your stomach, that kind of gut punch
I want to
feeling.
keep stopping because it's so
Yeah.
ugly. I don't like that
Seeing if you
energy.
can just open it up to it for just even like 5% more. Just being a little bit more okay with it being here, knowing it's just energy. And then trusting what naturally comes up, not looking for a memory, not looking for anything. What comes up when I ask? One time I remember feeling this way is,
Whoa. In like in a religious setting. Yeah. Yeah, like in the religion I grew up in, you would have to like confess sins to a bishop. And it kind of feels like that. Like I'm like being judged for like my character and who I am as a person. Yeah.
and yeah, is there anything else that came up or anything specific?
It's like the memory you're talking about. What memory comes up? Is there another memory
Or just like within that, as you're kind of
in that
reflecting
memory?
on that feeling of being judged for your character, is there anything
Mm,
else that kind of comes with that?
it's just this like it's kind of like I don't think I'm that bad, but people are telling me I'm that bad, and it's just like it's confusing. It's like disorienting because I think I'm a good person, but like, and I feel like I do kind things, and I'm not perfect, and I'm human, and I allow those parts of me, but like when it's like your best friend feels the need to pull away, it's like, oh, maybe there are some parts of me that are really ugly that I need to address, which I'm happy to address, but they're so ugly, you need to end a friendship. It's just, am I really that unaware? It just, I feel so, uh, I guess, delusional in a way. Like, I'm just like, am I really okay? Like, it's so weird.
And I want to name that the uncomfy energy and why it's so uncomfortable sitting with it is because that energy has connected this question of if someone like a priest or if someone like my best friend can say that I'm a bad person, like maybe I'm a bad person. And
Yeah.
that goes against, all the conscious thoughts like, but I'm really not. And I try and I own my parts and I want to work on it. So you
Right.
have the conscious understanding of I'm not a bad person, but this energy that also was experienced in your past religious experiences has made this connection of if someone doesn't like how I show up or something I do,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe I'm a bad person.
Yeah,
Does that
that's
land?
it. Yeah, and that bad, it's so funny. That has come up so much in my life. Like in therapy, like I'm a bad girl or I'm a bad person. It's so weird. It might be a childhood trauma. I might have been told that growing up. I don't know. But it's like that is I thought I was over that, but maybe not.
And if you like, we brought up the ego hates it when we get specific. So if you were right now,
Yeah.
just think and reflect over like, what does it mean to you? What would it mean to be a bad person? What would
Well,
that mean if you were a bad person? Like, what would that have to look like? How would you define that?
I think a bad person is like really bad, like a human trafficker, like that's bad, like just terrible, or a mass murderer. That's what that would look like to me.
Yeah. Taking rights, taking lives,
Yeah,
taking control, things like that.
right.
And when you really reflect on your own life, I
Not
mean,
any
I've
person.
known you only for a few minutes, but I feel safe to have my own opinions on that. And you can take a look and be like, okay, does this actually match how I would see? Like, am I actually a bad person based on how I feel a bad person would be defined?
No,
Yeah. And this is where we start unwiring it. So it's like, so what else is true?
I have bad moments. Like I have bad behaviors. Like, you know, I think I think the biggest thing for my friend was she said I'm not considerate. She's like, you're not considerate of me. And I can own that. I think the hard part was she was expecting me to just know I was being inconsiderate. And I wasn't like proactively, you know, asking her if she was okay during her pregnancy, right? So she felt that I was being inconsiderate, and I'm happy. Like the annoying thing is like I'm happy to admit I'm wrong, and I'm like, okay, like yeah, if you need me to reach out more, I can do that. But I think what's so upsetting is she didn't give me the chance to do that. It was just this like, you're just too much for me. Oh, that's what it is. There's a painful one. Yeah, that. You're too much for me to handle. Yeah, that, that hurts.
Yeah. And it makes sense that these are like old wounds and old triggers because those things that we experience when we're younger, they don't just go away. And even when we work with them, they still don't just go away. Healing doesn't mean they're gone. Like
Right.
I say I healed my anxiety, but I still have days where I feel anxious.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, that
this
makes so much
idea.
sense.
Yeah. And these parts of us, this part of you that feels like, oh my goodness, I'm too much for people. Or this part of you that feels when others don't like what I do, I'm a bad person. Those little parts, they they can still be in the car. We're just going to take them out of the driver's seat so that you
Mm,
can take in the feedback of the situation and see with that clear eyes of like, okay, here's where I can grow from the situation. Here's where I can own my part. Here's also where I can see other people's opportunity for growth and where I feel like I showed up to the best, but I'm not a mind reader, things like that. And you can see
right.
that, yes, and. And so we're honoring those parts and working with them, but we heal them in a way where it's like inviting them into our life, not healing them to make them go away. Like I like to liken them to children. Those little parts of us, they're like toddlers. They
Yeah,
want what's best for you. They want to help. They want everything to be okay, but they're not always the most effective and they don't always have the best strategy. So that's
right.
why I say they get to be in the car, but they're not in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Well, that makes so much sense. My little toddler, I'm like thinking of him now. I'm like, yeah, he does want to
Yes.
be helpful. That's true. It's true. Yeah.
And if you were to think of that energy that was in your stomach, that really uncomfortable, heavy energy that's associated with being a bad person,
Yeah.
see that like a toddler. Like, can you see that as your little
Mm,
self, just wanting you to do right by others, just wanting you to make others feel good as well, wanting to make sure she doesn't get in trouble,
yeah.
wanting to make sure that she's still loved.
Right. Yeah.
You can see her intentions are so beautiful.
They are. Yeah. So the seeing the energy as a toddler, like experiencing that, the kind of like putting it out.
Yeah, this is
I
something
see.
that I help with because sometimes it can be really hard to have compassion for our blocks or our past experiences. But when we
Mm-hmm.
can see them like children in their innocence, in their
Yeah.
way where they're just trying to help, but they just don't have the best way to help, it can
Oh.
be like a shortcut to give ourselves that compassion and give those
Mm-hmm.
energies that compassion because our minds are quicker to see the innocence of a child versus an adult. And that's just the training of the mind. But it's an easy bridge to start seeing
Mm-hmm.
those blocks as just like little kids. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, little Haley just wanted to make sure you didn't get in trouble. She just wanted to make sure that you're a good girl. And you
Yeah.
can see that that is a beautiful, loving, wholesome intention.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
When you tune into that, like, what do you notice with that energy? When you lean into that, yeah.
The moment you said little Haley, I wanted to cry. It was just like immediate compassion, just like immediate, like softening, an immediate softening. That's the word. It was just oh, like, I don't know. I have so much compassion for little Haley. Like, she's just trying her best, you know? Yeah.
Yes.
She's a little cutie pie.
Yes. And then you can
Yeah.
take that energy and
Mhm.
apply it to the you of today. It's
Mm.
still true that you're always trying your best,
Yeah.
that you're a cutie pie, that your
Yeah. Mhm.
intentions are still so wholesome and so inherently innocent. And everyone in this world is just doing their best at any given
Right.
time.
Right.
And we can learn and we can grow. And this is part of it. It's that embracing it all and seeing the it's like the silver lining while also the growth edge. It's seeing
Mhm.
where we can grow and where we showed up really powerful. It's that yes and to the whole experience, and not in a way where we're looking at what like someone else should have done or could have done or anything like that. We're just looking at our unique experience of something
Mhm.
and owning what's there to own, healing what's there to heal, and questioning what's there to question.
Yeah. I think for me the question is like I've contemplated like how to answer her delivery of grievances with like also kind of like pausing, ending the relationship. And it's hard because I feel like I'm like, I can't even respond right now because I have to like grieve what just happened, you know? So it's like, I don't want to say something I'll regret. And I also don't want to say, oh, it's okay. Because it's not to me. I think that's like actually on your part, not a good friend, in my opinion, right? Like, I appreciate the honesty. I think that is that's characteristics of a good friend. But I think pausing or ending a friendship where you know they had good intentions, and they're in a messy, like, healing journey, I think it's kind of lame to like end a friendship with someone when they're going through a hard time, you know?
And you really hear like this powerful clarity on like, you know, what your feelings are and your view of
Yeah.
it. And I love that you also know you're like, I don't want to say anything I'll regret. And I also am not willing to bypass this. I
No.
love the clarity of all of that. And
Yeah.
really just like tuning in, what feels, I have two questions I want to ask. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
feels like the energy that you would want to come from with your next move, whether it's saying something or not,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's reaching out or letting things be, like whatever the action is, aside from that, what energy do you want to come from as you take whatever action feels most aligned? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I always want to be operating in love. I always want to be operating in the emotion of love. And that includes myself, like love for myself and love for her. And I think that the love for myself part of me would be expressing what her message did for me, like what my experience was, and owning that and being like, also, hey, that's not okay. Like, I actually need to put up boundaries knowing how you show up in your friendships and relationships. And like, mm, I don't know if that's like a protector part of me that's trying to put up boundaries because love doesn't feel that way. It doesn't, I feel like love doesn't feel the need to protect itself. Oh, this is jumbly. This is messy.
Can I reflect? I love this. This is so real. This is so real. I hear like the conscious idea of like, I want to come from love because that's powerful. And that is just the most magical way we can lead our lives.
Yeah.
And there is still that protector that's like, we can come in from love. We're also going to make sure that Haley's taken care of and that she's justified and that that defense armor.
Yeah.
Love it. And you have such powerful awareness. I do want to highlight that. Like you're so aware of everything that's there. I
Thank you.
want to invite you to like tune into what is it that you like, what makes you feel the most love? Maybe it's your little ones, maybe it's a certain location. Like, what is
Ooh,
it
that's a good
in your
question.
day to day life right now that
Yeah.
invokes the most love within you?
Mm, that's such a good question. What invokes love in me? I lately have been just really loving to dance. That's been like,
Okay.
oh, that just makes my heart sing. Like I feel like sunshine is just like exploding
Yes.
out of my soul. Yeah.
Tune into that energy. Like, think about the last time you were dancing and just letting yourself be
Okay.
free. The sunshine's exploding,
Yeah.
letting this energy just radiate
Okay.
all around, all the way from the top of your head down to your toes.
Okay. Okay.
From this energy, what
Uh-huh.
feels like the next best thing, the next best step for you?
Oh, I love this. This is so cool. Okay. I would say, oh, ego's so strong right now. It's like, forget love.
And to be fair, this is a very streamlined, like laser coaching
I love it.
moment. If we were like in a real session, I would put on music and actually have you dance. So
Oh,
you
look
can do
at
that
that.
after the call.
Oh, so you really activate the body. I love that. Getting the body and the mind connection. Um, God, when it was Sunday yesterday. I had just finished my heels class, and I love heels class. I feel so good, and I have so much love for my students, right? Like I just love watching them be vulnerable and do really hard things. Like it's awful to be a beginner because you're like, oh, I'm a beginner, but they have fun and they do it, and I love it. But I think for my friend, I would just tell her like, I love you, and if if that's your decision, I respect it. I see it. I It makes me sad. It does. It makes me want to grieve, but I love you, and I think you know what's best for you more than anyone. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And that right there is such a beautiful example of that coming from pure love
Yeah.
and honoring the protector and those other parts that want to show up. And they, like I said, they get to be in the car, but they're not in the driver's seat. Love gets to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I felt it. Like I felt that protector part of me just want to like control the conversation that I would want to have. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And something that can help is like from that protector energy, like write an FU letter. They are so cathartic. Let that
Yeah.
energy,
I've
the
written
one that
like
wants to
four.
run. Yes. Get that energy out. Like pen and paper is amazing. And
Yeah.
letting that energy be expressed and be honored and be validated is magical. Because we like
Yeah.
all if the energy's here, it's here for a reason. So we want to honor it. But
Mm,
we don't want to act from all of these energies because
mm,
that's how we can have more challenging relationships and more
right.
challenging communication styles. And those and it's not bad or wrong. There is a different way of doing it for anyone that wants to. And so when we honor those energies, the protectors, the anger, the energies that we want to honor without putting them in the driver's seat, giving them an outlet, letting them be heard and expressed in
Mm-hmm.
a safe space where you're either like with your therapist, your coach, yourself, your journal, so that
Yeah.
you're not accidentally getting let out during the conversation you're having.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what's the analogy of this, like when you pour tea, like a kettle, like the steam in
Mm,
a kettle.
yeah.
If you don't let that steam out, it's going to start screaming. It's going to come out one way or another. So let it out in safe, healthy ways so that then when you're actually in the conversation with your friend, with your spouse, with your sibling, parent, etc., you're coming from the energy of love, the energy that you want to be coming from, because
Right.
all the other parts got to have their turn. They got to say what they want to say. Their intentions get to be honored.
Mm.
They get to be around for the conversation, but we're not acting from those energies.
So when you say to give the energy an outlet, how exactly does one, you gave an example of like a FU letter, but like what are other ways to process like really intense emotions like rage, guilt, shame, like all those things?
What I do when someone has an energy and emotion that we need to process, I start by having them presence that emotion. So where in your body do you feel it the strongest? And maybe like, let's use anger. That's a great example. Where do you feel that anger? Maybe it's in your heart space, maybe it's in your stomach, solar plexus, like wherever it is. And just presence it for just a moment, giving it full permission to be here exactly as it is. We're not trying to change it, just letting it be here. And then from that energy, like, what does that energy need? What does that energy want? Right now, what can you do? What does this energy need? How can it be expressed? And there's going to be some kind of insight or download or a nudge into what feels good. Maybe it's screaming. So go grab a pillow and scream into the pillow.
Mm.
Maybe it's going for a run so that you can move your body and feel that energy burnout that way. So after
Yeah.
the call, put on running shoes, go out. Maybe it's something where you just need to move and kind of shake it out. So put on a raging song or a song that makes you want to just bounce around and just
Mhm.
for 3 minutes, shake your entire body out.
Mm.
There's so many productive ways that we can express our emotions in ways that feel good and let those energies out. But at the end of the day, it's really like, what does that energy want? Like, how does it want to be expressed?
Right.
And so tuning into it and just say, like, what would feel really good right now? And then do it. That's the follow up. It doesn't matter if you look silly. It doesn't matter what the neighbors think.
Yeah.
Like, if that's what feels good as a way to give yourself that outlet,
Yeah.
honor that.
Yeah. 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 That's so good. I feel like a lot of us use buffers to instead of address the emotions. We're just like, let's just watch a bunch of Netflix and eat a bunch of ice cream.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Social
Neutral.
media,
Yeah.
movies, yeah, all of it. Everything. And everything in life is also like designed to be that distraction. It's
Mhm.
easier, ignorance is bliss is a saying for a reason.
Yes.
It's easier to ignore the energies and the emotions and everything that's here than it is to work through those until you have the awareness. Once you start building your awareness, there's no going back, I have found.
Yeah, you're allowed buffering again.
Literally. But I'll share, like, when I first started this self-development journey and doing my own inner work a couple years ago, before that, I had no access to emotions. I didn't know how to feel anything in my body. I had basically turned everything off like a light switch, and I was very avoidant to feeling anything. And when I started doing this work, it was like a skill I had to learn. I learned how to feel the emotions and how to create that safe space and it was something that like I built up over time to learn that emotions are not dangerous and they're also not
Mhm.
fact. It's
Yeah.
just energy that needs to if it doesn't get expressed, it's going to get suppressed. And
Right.
so if we're not letting that energy out, we're just going to keep burying it deeper and deeper and deeper
Yeah.
until it comes out.
Like a pimple. Yes. Oh man. Yeah, it's so interesting. Like one of the interesting or the most unusual emotions that came out of motherhood was rage. And it was such I didn't no one had ever said that. Maybe because there might be shame about talking about it, but like I really developed this rage and it was just rage at like how people treat innocent beings. Like just it just like what? Like human trafficking's a thing? Like, you know, child cruelty. It just blew my mind. I was just like so mad, angry, like livid. And I would just cry about how like angry I was about it. And then I would also like rage. I would just sense this rage. Like when I remember this one time, very specific example. I was in a stroller with my son, and this dog was walking in our trajectory, right? And I watched Caesar Milan, the Dog Whisperer, so many episodes of that. Also read his book because I was like, this stuff is interesting. And the dog's ears went like backwards like a predator. His hair stuck up and his tail was like straight. And I was like, I immediately saw red. Like I was like, I will kill you, dog. Come at me. You better not mess with my baby. Like it was so wild. I had heard that expression, see red, but I had never felt it until my son. And it was just it was an interesting emotion I didn't expect, but also like I love it. I love the rage. I think it's a protective, I think it's evolutionary. I really do. It's biological because there's so much of my biology that wants to protect my son. And I think it's really cool. And I think that it can be scary when it's not directed in the right energies and the right modalities. But like, I think it's a great emotion. It's just like a weird one. It's like
All emotions are so important because all emotions, including the heavier ones or the scarier ones or the ones that we have been conditioned to not allow. And anger is a great example of that. And rage is a great example because in my experience, both personally, but also from what I've seen with society and especially around women, there's so much shame around feeling angry.
yeah,
And at
it's
the end of the day,
weird.
like all emotions have feedback, all emotions are important, and all emotions have a spectrum from toxic to non toxic. There's toxic positivity, there's healthy positivity. There's toxic rage, there's healthy rage. There's a full spectrum. The emotions themselves are a neutral energy that are part of being human. How they get applied, how they get projected, how they get acted from is kind of where they land on that spectrum. But the emotions themselves are not inherently bad or good, positive, negative, toxic, non-toxic. They're just energy. It's just emotion. It's just part of being a human in this world, living a life.
Oh my God. That was such a truth bomb that you just dropped on us. I had never heard it put that way. All emotions are neutral and they have this toxic and not toxic version to each emotion. And there's a spectrum. Okay, tell me about the spectrum because it sounds like a little bit of like it could be dichotomistic, but maybe there's a little bit of leeway. Tell me a little bit about that. That's so interesting what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say it's a spectrum because I don't see almost anything, if not everything. Like, I don't believe in the dichotomy of life anymore. This was a huge rewiring I went through for years of
Mhm.
taking out like the right or wrong, yes and no, like really starting to see life as a spectrum. And what I found is because even people that are thought leaders in this industry, the coaches that have been coaching for decades and decades, the healers that have been healing for decades and decades, the ones that are the leaders of the healing and self-development industries, even they have human moments. Even
Right.
they have triggers that they work through.
Right.
And so it's not something where once we learn how to work with an emotion, we never act human again, or we never cave in towards a more toxic version of that emotion. Because we're
Yeah.
building, we're growing, and with the dedication and commitment, more often than not, you'll be falling in that healthy side of the spectrum. But if we see it as either it's healthy or it's not, then that means we're not allowing for the humanness to show up and the growth to happen. Part of growing is it's like the image of when you can stand how do I say it? Like if you fall down, you get back up. Falling down doesn't have to be bad. Falling down is part of strengthening yourself so that you fall down less. There's also strength that happens when you get back up again, that resilience. And it's similar with emotions, healing the emotions, working with them. Just because we have successfully and healthily integrated anger 99% of the past 100 experiences, that one time where we lean into a toxic anger because of X, Y, and Z reasons, does that mean that we have a toxic relationship with anger? Does that mean that we're a bad person? Does that mean that we don't have control of our emotions? Or does it just mean, okay, there was a trigger that took me out of the window I wanted to be in? What's that trigger? What was it about this one time that had me showing up and acting from a different energy? And it takes out of the right and wrong duality of it all and just sees everything as a learning opportunity and feedback.
I love that. I love that so much. It is feedback, and I think that one of the most common things we do towards ourselves and even our like relationships is we personify people from moments of weakness, right? Like moments of humanity, when it's like, no, like even if you look at yourself, you always think of it as circumstances rather than like identities, right? Like, oh, she was late 30 minutes. That means she's a bad person or something. Like she just doesn't care, right? So it's no, like I cared. I prepped this all this time. There was traffic, and then my son, and do. So it was just all circumstances. But then we're like, no, this is who you are. You're flaky. You're da. So I love that. Yeah, it really is. It's interesting how our brains like to go to those extremes of like identifying, judging, and characterizing people in these boxes. Yeah, it's crazy.
And ourselves.
Towards ourselves.
Using that being late, like if I show up late and I start making that mean about myself, that I'm flaky, that I don't care, I'm going to show up in a very different energy than one where I say, I am so sorry, traffic got in my way today and I left 15 minutes late because I forgot to set a timer. Like, thank you so much for your patience. Like when I just own the situation, but I don't make it personal about myself. I'm not identifying or judging myself for any of those other elements. Then that's like where the healing is. And it's not about condoning. Like say there's, if we have a pattern or a trait that we want to change, like if I'm late all the time and I want to change that,
yeah,
then by all means change that and learn the skills, learn the time management, the things that will help you get where you are. But
yeah,
unwire the context of, because I'm late, I'm a terrible friend. Because I'm late, I'm a flaky person. Any of those identifications that we've made, that those are just going to hold ourselves back.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that so much. Oh, man, this was such a good conversation. I'm like learning so much from you. So how can people connect with you, or do you have any programs you're running right now? Like what's the best way to get in touch with you?
I would say come say hi to me on Instagram. My handle is Brittni.Cosgrove, and Brittni's a little different. It's Brittni. But come say hi. I would love to hear like the takeaways, the insights. And I feel like this was such a beautiful show. Like, thank you for your vulnerability.
Yeah, of
letting me showcase a little bit, like just a little taste of what coaching can look like. So for anyone that's listening that would be curious about how that could look in their own lives and in anything that's holding you back right now, I'll give you a link that you can share for a complimentary session for anyone that just is curious about how that can really impact their own lives, their own careers, their own relationships, anything along those lines.
Yeah. It's the power of coaching. It's amazing. Like I love coaching. I coach. I get coached. I love talking to other coaches because it's just like it's all so amazing, like how we got into coaching or like what we've learned through coaching. And it's such a healing journey. Like I don't think healing's gonna stop. I really don't. I think it's like maintenance. Like once you've like healed big things, you're just like it's like going to the dentist. You're like, yep, I need my
Yeah.
checkup.
It's so funny because it's this difference of being versus doing. People have this mindset like I have to do to heal. But then it's like,
Right.
oh, no, no, no. It's a way of being. It's
Right.
all of it. It's allowing life to meet us as we meet life. And it's that existence as we're leaning into our edges and as we continue healing, we're not healing because we're trying to get to the end goal or because there's a destination where we're done healing. It's like, oh, this is just a way of living that feels really good, feels really wholesome, feels really expansive. And it's like that art of being versus doing.
I love that. Is that Eckhart Tolle?
I don't know, definitely could be though.
Yeah,
I
I
love his
I
work.
first learned about that from him. That blew my mind. Like, because I feel like in America we're such doers, right? It's like I must do to be lovable, right? Or worthy. If I don't do, then who am I, right? It's this whole like cataclysmic thing that was like I must do to be, and we're like, wait, you can be and just be. It's like
Yes. And that applies to healing. Absolutely. I feel that applies to everything, honestly.
I like how you framed it in a healing perspective. It's like, yeah, you could apply that to healing so well. It's beautiful. Absolutely. Brittni, this was awesome. I cannot wait to publish this and re-listen. It's amazing. Um, Thank you again for your beautiful energy.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was so good.
Yes.